what is up everyone? The LDB is back at it again, coming at you today with my no bleed backfire build for TU11. We've got no bleed on reload at all, zero, not even a little tiny tick, so I've been loving that. We've got some nice hazard protection and still some big crits on top for the DPS, so definitely give this one a try. I hope you all enjoy and find this video helpful. If you do, please do me a huge favor and smash that like button, subscribe for future Division content if you are new to the channel, hit me up on Twitter, and feel free to drop a comment down there below. So let's get into this. Alright everyone, and here it is. So as you can see up top there, I'm going to be using the firewall specialization simply because I like to burn things from time to time. It is what it is, as well as the burn on armor break talent still does apply in PvE. If you're going into PvP, I would say switch over to the gun or something like that, maybe get some armor on kill, whatever your preference may be, but for PvE, I am still using the firewall because this is a face tank type of build and our armor is eventually going to break. When it does, it's going to burn all the NPCs around me, and you know, it's basically easy pickings after that. So that's why I'm going with that. Now, to each their own. If you want to switch to something else, by all means, go ahead, try it, but for me, this is where it's at. Now, as far as the core attributes go, we're talking 5 reds, 1 blue, 0 yellows, and the minor attributes, we have 7 reds, 5 blue, and 0 yellow. So we're definitely going to be pushing the hazard protection a little bit on this, and it's been working out great. Now, as far as our armor goes, at 895,000, our health is 330,000. We have no skill tiers. So other than that, let's get on to these weapons. Alright, so for my primary weapon, I'm going to be using, well, the Backfire, right? Obviously. This weapon has been one of my favorites as of lately. I have been loving it. What I have not been loving is the bleed that you get every time you reload the thing. That just can't happen, especially on a build like this where it is all run and gun in your face. You can't have that bleed slowing you down. You just can't have it. So today I went ahead and made the build that you can just take that bleed, throw it out the window, just completely forget about it, and use this like a regular SMG. Just go up, face tank, get those stacks up, and do some crazy damage. We're talking 114.1k per bullet base damage, 850 RPM with 55 in the mag. So we're doing pretty good there. Now as far as the attributes go, we're doing okay. I mean, it's not God rolled, but it's doing the trick, right? It's doing its job. Now, as far as the talent goes, this is definitely where it's at. Payment in kind. Dealing damage to enemies adds a stack of plus 1% crit hit damage up to 200 stacks. So that's a potential 200 crit damage on top of whatever you have on the build. That is absolutely insane. Lasting 10 seconds. On reload, apply a 10-second bleed to yourself, which deals 0.5 armor damage per stack. But that is the part we're going to just forget about on this build. Take that off, you might as well just erase it, and we're going to focus on getting those stacks up of the crit damage and just do crazy damage. Loving it, guys, been loving it. So other than that, moving on to my secondary, it is the Dark Winter. This one right here is hitting for 87.2k per bullet base damage, 1200 RPM. So if you pull this thing out and just let it rip, I mean, you dump that 45 in the mag real fast. We've got some halfway decent attributes on there. Again, not God rolled, but it is what it is. As well as the talent down here, again, is what makes it. Killing an enemy with a critical hit grants plus 50% crit hit damage for 10 seconds. So if we do have to swap to this weapon, if we run out of ammo, so on and so forth, whatever, you know, you get pinched, just go ahead and swap over to this, and you can still do some nasty damage. So other than that, guys, let's take a look at these gear pieces. Alright, so let's start out here with the mask. It is Seska. We have the 2-piece active, giving us that plus 10% crit hit chance and plus 10% hazard protection. Gotta love that there. Now, as far as the attributes go, I went with weapon damage, crit hit damage, and hazard protection. Those 3 lined up are definitely very important for this build. I understand that the weapon damage roll is not the best, but I am focusing more on getting the crit hit damage with the hazard protection combo together. Those 2 right there is absolutely crucial for the build. You want the crit hit damage to be as high as possible, because when you get the crit hits stacking on your primary weapon, it's just going to amplify whatever you already have on the build, as well as the hazard protection to get you to a nice 80%, and then you can start working on your bleed resistances, which is exactly what I did for the mod. As you can see, I have that bleed resistance mod. I've got 2 of them on this build, and that is all you need to push it past the threshold to not feel any kind of bleed at all from the weapon. It's absolutely amazing. So other than that, let's get on to the chest piece. Alright, so for my chest piece, I am going with Sokolov. We have the 2-piece active giving us that plus 10% SMG damage as well as plus 15% crit hit damage. Gotta love that there. Now as far as the attributes go, we have weapon damage, crit hit chance, and crit hit damage with one more bleed resistance mod on there, right there, just to push it over the edge. I believe the threshold is 95%. After you break 95% and hit 96%, you will not feel any kind of bleed. 95, you're basically still right in the middle. 96, you're on the upper end of things, I guess you could say, right? So think of it that way. And basically, that's all I've done right here. Now, as far as the talent goes, we have Intimidate. While you have bonus armor, amplifies total weapon damage 35% to enemies within 10 meters. And the weapon, you can't really shoot that far anyway, so you got to get close. And, you know, with Adrenaline Rush on the backpack, I know it's cliche and it's, you know, all these builds are just basically Intimidate, Adrenaline Rush, all that stuff. But, you know, until they put something else that is basically best in slot, you know, you got to use it, right? So other than that, moving on to the holster here, it is again Sokolov, and we have some better rolls on this. 14.9 weapon damage, max crit damage, and max hazard protection. Gotta love that right there. Okay, so for the knees, they are Y'all gear, giving us that plus 10% hazard protection just for wearing them. These are pretty much key for this build. You must wear at least one piece of Y'all somewhere to negate the bleed. I have not found any other way around it. It is what it is. So if you don't have a piece of Y'all gear, go ahead and run into the DZ for a little bit. You can always go into Conflict, get a piece out of a Conflict cache, but as far as I understand, this is DZ or PvP exclusive, I should say, right? We got some armor on here, max hazard protection, and some crit hit damage. Again, combo that hazard crit damage as much as you can, and you'll be doing great. Now, as far as the gloves go here, they are Grupo, giving us another 15% crit hit damage just for wearing them. We've got some weapon damage, hazard protection maxed out with some max crit chance. Now, I left that crit chance on there because, well, you know, we do need crit chance still a little bit, right? Now, it's much easier to reach the cap or get close to the cap of crit chance with an SMG rather than if it was an assault rifle or a rifle, shotgun, you know, anything like that. So just keep that in the back of your head. You might need crit chance on a couple pieces, but overall, just run the hazard, crit damage, and you'll be doing great. Now, on to the backpack. I'd have to say, as far as rolls go, we're doing a little bit better. It is Seska. We have 15% weapon damage maxed out crit damage, maxed out hazard protection, and we have a 12% maxed out crit hit damage mod in there as well. Whew! That just looks pretty right there. That just looks nice. And then we have Adrenaline Rush on here as well. Whenever you are within 10 meters of an enemy, gain 20% bonus armor for 5 seconds. Stacks up to 3 times. I mean, pretty straightforward on that. Everyone knows how that works. And I got pretty lucky on this backpack, I would have to say. Now, other than that, let's get on to the skills. Alright, so as far as the skills go, I am going to be using a Crusader Shield. Pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy. 2 million hit points they have to break before they get to your armor bar, unless they're getting you from the side or something like that. But overall, this thing will definitely help you a lot when you're up in somebody's face. And I'm even at skill tier 1 since I do have 1 blue on the build. Look at that. Not too bad. Now, as far as my secondary skill, I'm going with the Defender Drone because, again, you know, you get that damage reduction, 20%. It might not sound like a lot, but when you're up in someone's face, 20% damage reduction can make or break a fight, really. And it's another 1.1 million hit points that they have to break that they usually focus on other than you. So, hey, that's definitely a plus in my book. Now, let's run off to the stat sheet. Alright everyone, so before we go ahead and sign off, let's just do a quick little recap breakdown here on the stat sheet. Now again, my weapon talents that I'm going to be using on my primary, Payment in Kind, on my secondary, Perfect Killer, we have Preservation on my sidearm, as well as some high-octane gasoline mixture to play with, right? Gotta love that there. Now moving on to the weapon stats, we're talking 114k per bullet base damage, 56.8 crit hit chance. I know it's not capped off, but it's over the 50% mark, 5 out of 10 would be 50%, 6 out of 10 landing with crit damage would be 60%, and my crit hit damage is 151.2, right? So I point that out because I've seen a handful of builds like this that are very similar, and they're struggling to break the 120, 130 crit hit damage mark, and I broke the 150, as you can see. I think that has to do with using the 2-piece Sokolov, so keep that in the back of your head. Now, moving on to headshot damage, 70%, not too bad. Range, 22 meters. You can shoot a little bit farther than regular SMGs, but you still need to get close. Otherwise, this thing does get a little bit squirrely on you. Now, moving on to reload time, you got 2.1 seconds, not too bad at all. Got some bonuses down here coming from the watch, nothing too crazy, blah, blah, blah. Let's take a look at offense here. We're talking 75.6 all-weapon damage bonus and 39.2 submachine gun damage bonus. Now, both of those numbers are very weird to look at, 39.2, you know, 75.6. My point being is, this is not min-maxed. This is a work in progress, and it's still going crazy. So if you can do better than this, well, you're just ahead of the ball. That's all I can say. Now, as far as gear talents go, again, Adrenaline Rush and Intimidate. Yes, again, cliche combo, everybody's using it, blah, blah, blah. But again, until they make some talents that are better for face tanking, more or less best in slot, this is what people are going to be using. It is what it is, guys. Now, as far as the brand sets go, 2-piece Seska, 2-piece Sokolov, 1-piece Grupo, and 1-piece Y'all. Nothing too crazy to go out and farm. Now, as far as defense goes, 895,000 armor, not too bad. We've got max health, 330,000, and we have a little bit of health on kill, so not too bad, right? But now we're getting into the interesting part. 80% hazard protection, 80%. So that means blind, deaf, burn, disorient, disrupt, ensnare. All those things are going to be at least 80%. But then take a look at bleed. 98%, guys, 98%. We're over that 96% threshold. As far as I know, that is the threshold you need to break to completely negate that bleed. As you can see during the gameplay, I'm not bleeding at all, and it's just a great thing. Now, it's also great just to have all this status, hazard protection on here as well, because NPCs are a pain, right? They throw grenades at you, they try to burn you, bleed you, anything they can do, and this is definitely going to help you out as well with them, as well as with the bleed on the reload. So, gotta love that there. Now, as far as the skills go, we pretty much went over that. Just a Crusader shield and a Defender drone. Nothing too crazy. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next one. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, my no bleed backfire build for TU11. No bleed on that reload at all, not even a little tick, a twitch, nothing at all. We have some nice hazard protection, still have some big crits for the big DPS on top of it. So I hope you all enjoyed and found this video helpful. If you did, please do me a huge favor and smash that like button. Subscribe for future Division content if you are new to the channel. Hit me up on Twitter, and feel free to drop a comment down there below. So until next time, guys, I hope you take it easy, be safe out there, and I will see you then. Later.